This is the plaintiff, Christopher Clark. He says he purchased a safe from the defendant's ad on the internet, and the guy sold him a Liberty Lincoln safe. He advertised the thing as a Liberty Presidential, but underhandedly sold him a Liberty Lincoln instead, and that's not fair. He's suing the Unsafe safe salesman for $4,299.99, the cost of a new safe. This is the defendant, Darren Penley. He claims he explained to the plaintiff that the safe had belonged to his father's estate and advertised the used safe in as-is condition. The plaintiff's acting like a little spoiled brat who has second thoughts about his purchase and filed this bogus lawsuit like a little baby. Bottom line, the plaintiff bought a used safe, and that's exactly what he got. He's accused of selling an imposter.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant sold him a bum safe, but the defendant says the sale was as is. It's the case of you're not safe with me.
Thank you, Douglas. Christopher Clark, you are suing Darren Penley for $4,299.99, the cost of a new safe, because he sold you a different kind of safe than what he had advertised. Tell me what's going on here.
Your Honor, my wife and I decided it was time to purchase a gun safe for our home for the pistols and rifles that we own. And I did some research over a few weeks. And through the course of time, I found on an internet website the safe that the defendant advertised. And it was at the top of my list. So I contacted him right away and didn't get a response.
What did he, do you have the advertisement?
I do.
For sale, Liberty Presidential 40 safe. Now, the Liberty Presidential 40 is a safe that holds 40 guns.
It's designed to hold 40, but actually it's a little bit less than that. But that's the idea originally.
Okay. Ad said 35 gun capacity. He told me 42 plus, room for more. Firm on 2,500 because his father purchased it for 5,000 new. And it was 10 years old. This, I guess, how do you depreciate a safe? Like what selling the safe as if in poor condition, although it is in pristine condition. Those are the things he told you on the phone.
That's correct.
So what happened?
So at that time, he explained to me that the safe was in an estate and it hadn't been released, and there was paperwork that had to be done before he would have access to the safe or that I could get the safe. So I decided to take my mother with me to be a witness and the bill of sale.
So the safe was where?
The safe was in Cincinnati, I believe, at his father's.
Okay, and you were meeting him where?
In Columbus, close to his home.
All right, so when you did the transaction, had the witness and your mom and everything else, that was without having seen the safe?
Correct.
All right, so the safe gets transported, because it's not like, hand me that piano. It's kind of hard to, you can. Right. So you don't get it yourself. You get a transport company to transport the safe from his father's house, once, I guess, their paperwork was done and the estate was settled, and over to your house, and what do you find? So
when the safe arrived to my home, it was wrapped up, started to unwrap it. I was talking to the safe movers about the weight, and they talked to me about the weight and said, no, it's not nearly the 1,200 pounds that the presidential safe was. So a light went off, and I thought, well, this is the presidential, right? And he said, no, this is the Lincoln 25. And right away I thought, oh, I just got had. So he showed me on the...
So same brand, different model, smaller
company.
model?
So Liberty is the company that manufactures it, and then a different model. Basically half the safe.
Well, what is a new Liberty, brand new spanking new Liberty cost?
$21.99.
And you have paid him how much?
$2,500.
$2,500. Yeah. Okay. So go on.
So I do have the information here that shows that it was the Lincoln 25. I also have the information here that talks about the fire rating. The fire rating on the safe that Darren actually provided to me was a 30-minute versus the safe that I thought I was getting is a 2.5-hour rating. So in other words, if there's a fire, that safe would protect the documents.
You don't have to say a whole lot more. Yeah. What happened? You advertised a presidential 40 and you sent him a Liberty 25. What happened there?
That is correct. Everything he's saying is exactly correct.
Lincoln 25. Okay.
When we did a research, my wife and I, it wasn't our safe. It wasn't in our possession. It was 2.5 hours away. We were going by memory. And when we decided to look up values of these safes, we looked up Liberty safes. What they have is a presidential series that inquires like Washington, Franklin, Lincoln. Those are presidential series safes. They range from 25 to 40 in the model numbers. Had no idea there was called a presidential strictly safe.
Yeah, but how did you decide that it was going to be called a Liberty Presidential 40? You were very specific.
But we did our homework. We were doing and looking up all the different...
Homework would have been to look at the damn safe. Doesn't it say it on the safe?
It says nothing.
Homework would have been to look at the papers that you have on the safe. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't have a serial number.
Yeah, and
it does. The model on the safe. It says it right there. Model LX25. Why didn't somebody, I know you're not in Cincinnati or wherever, but why didn't you have somebody go over there? I mean, you're settling the estate, so there's people going over stuff.
All the paperwork was tied up, and I explained this
That's not my question.
them.
Paperwork is tied up is not the same. I mean, you can't possibly. What is your position on this?
Okay, so do you believe that this defendant just took a wild guess, or was this a plan to get over on the buyer?
It would have definitely been a plan. The guy knew what he was doing. He just gave the wrong information about the product.
Did he give the wrong information innocently, or was there something more sinister about it?
He was behind it. He was being devious, I would say.
Because you picked the most expensive safe?
Yes,
And
yeah.
who would think of Liberty Presidential 40, right?
Yeah, he must have done his research.
Yeah, unless you're from Philadelphia or something, right?
Definitely.
Right, going inside the courtroom.
What is
your defense? Yeah.
Buyer beware. I mean, I think...
Buyer beware of you being a liar and false advertising?
I explained directly to this guy that it was definitely, to the best of my knowledge, I explained to everybody that called, I had 40 plus calls on this safe. Everybody I talked to, I said, until I get it in my possession, I don't have pictures. I don't have any documentation.
My friend, he is not complaining that it's dirty or the paint is chipped. He's complaining that he wanted a Mercedes and you sold him a Kia.
No,
it's completely different. Wait a minute. You advertise that you are selling a certain kind of Cadillac safe, and what you end up delivering is half the safe, and your response is buyer beware that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about when I advertise it?
Absolutely. That's because I didn't know, and I explained to everybody.
That's your defense? Absolutely. I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm advertising before I send it. Let me ask you a question. You go to a car dealership, okay? And they tell you they're going to sell you a Mercedes. All right? And then you give your deposit, and then your car is delivered. And when they deliver the car is a Hyundai. No offense to Hyundai owners and Kia owners everywhere. Okay? Do you just say, oh, I guess buyer has to beware? Or do you stamp your foot on the ground and bang your hand on the table and say, you've got to be joking. I've just been had.
What I do is I do my homework is what I do.
How is he going to do his homework? Do you understand that we're not talking about whether something was in bad condition? We're talking about whether you lied about what it was. If you sell me a car as is, and I say, oh, the radiator blew and I got to pay a lot, I want my money back, I'm out of gas because that's as is. But if you tell me you're going to sell me a car, you deliver a banana, do you think that I can't sue you? Are you out of your mind?
No, because I honestly believed it was to be a
your honest belief
40.
and 25 cents won't get you a cup of coffee.
And
you are wrong. Wrong. And the worst part is you're not even apologetic. You're like belligerent about it. You're not even like, oh my gosh, I thought that's what it was. I'm so sorry. How can we work this out? Because you've been trying to work it out, right? You wanted your money back. You wanted him to come pick up his safe.
That's right.
Okay. And his response to you is what? Buyer beware. Seriously? And he is unrepentant about the fact that he lied about what he was selling you. He thinks you can lie about what he said. Buyer beware. Oh, you should never have trusted me to know what I was talking about. Let's talk about what you're suing for. This morning, when I was reading your pleadings, you were suing for $2,500. I'm sorry, $2,775, which is the $275 fee for safe transport and the $2,500 that he charged you for a safe that apparently brand new is $2,100. I'm sure it's not funny to you. It's a stitch to us, right? Okay. Then you have since thought about it and said, but wait, I thought I was getting a bargain and I'm not getting the benefit of my bargain. Sometimes helping you to get the benefit of your bargain or making it so that you get the benefit is really easy. And sometimes, like in this case, it's really hard. So I'm going to give you a choice of two options. If I set a figure for a used one, that's pretty close to and if I subtract from that figure what I am assuming you can get for the one you have, knowing that a new one is $2,100, all right, then I find your measure of damages to be around $2,000, and you keep the safe that is in your house. If you want that thing removed because you don't want it in your house and you don't want two safes and you don't want, then I'm going to order him to return the $2,775 to you, and it will be on his dime to go ahead and pick up the safe from your home and take it. Okay?
Yeah.
Which do you prefer?
I would take the latter.
The latter option. You just want me to undo the deal, you get your money back, and the safe gets removed. And that's what I'm ordering. $2,775, verdict for the plaintiff, plus, of course, your court costs. And I am ordering you at your expense to get that safe out of his home. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So the defendant will get the safe back, and then he'll be able to resell it again if that's what you want to do. Only this time you know how to advertise it, right?
Absolutely. I'm going to keep it. It was my father's. I probably shouldn't have got rid of it in the first place, but it is what it is.
Your defense was kind of shocking. Let the buyer beware. How's the buyer supposed to know that you're misrepresenting what you're selling them?
He should have done his homework.
He should have known.
Absolutely.
How is he supposed to know? How is he supposed to know?
I can't answer that.
Neither can I. All right, right down this way here. I don't know. You should have known. How could you have known?
You know, the funny thing was I asked him for paperwork, for pictures, and he said it was tied up in the estate, that he'd eventually get it. And I asked him a few more times via...
Do you buy his story then, that this was...
Not at all. I mean, I have, information that he said that this was a gun safe that would hold 42 guns, and he just told a story. It was a story.
Well, what do you think happened here? Did he do this? Did he try to pull a fast one on you with full knowledge of what he was doing?
I don't know that it was full knowledge, but I think he definitely tried to pull a fast one and take advantage of the situation.
All right, what do you think, Harvey?
Okay, on as-is sales, they're pretty much, you're stuck with it, unless you can prove fraud. Fraud is a misrepresentation of a material fact. This, my friends, is a material fact. There was a misrepresentation, and as a result of that, you can undo the deal. But only if you can prove fraud. If it's just a minor mistake, you're going to be stuck.